and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my June wrap up for you guys. June was a really freaking busy month for me, and I do plan on having like a June vlog up. It's probably going to be hella long. It's a crazy month for me. I did end up getting 6 things read in June. I did only read about, what's that say? 541 pages. 3 of those were audiobook and 3 of those were ebook. So, which is pretty interesting because I never pick up ebooks unless they are graphic novel. 1 was adult, 2 were middle grade, and 2 were a YA. So let's go ahead and let's get into this. As always, I'm going to leave timestamps down below for the segments. However, this time I'm also going to leave them for the titles of the books that I am mentioning. So I'm wondering if in the future someone suggested doing my books instead of doing them by like format, if I did them by age range. Which one would you prefer? Format, like audiobook, graphic novel, middle grade, or would you prefer by age range, which I think might actually be more appealing to people because they're probably looking more towards a specific age range. Let's check out the things that I read. First, I'm going to talk about the audiobooks, as always, one of which was the Fire on High. This is actually what I started out my month with, and I had heard really good things about this, so I wanted to check it out. It is about a girl. She had a teen pregnancy. She's in school, still in high school, and she is raising a baby. She's no longer with the baby daddy, however she is still in contact with him, but she like wants nothing to do with guys anymore. She also really wants to be a chef. She loves to cook, and this is kind of about her wanting to join this cooking class and the requirements for it and how they get to go to like Italy or something along the lines of that. And it's also about this budding romance that she swears isn't gonna happen, but it's gonna happen because it's YA romance. This was so good. I do believe that she is Latina American. I think that she said, but I honestly cannot remember off the top of my head. I just loved the voice of the main character. Brian always has to make noise while I'm filming. I loved the voice of this character. I love the way that she talks about her family dynamic. She was basically raised by her grandma, and now her grandma is basically raising her daughter with her, and I love the way that they talk about just the baby girl and the different aspects of her life, and the way that she is a mother but also trying to be a teenager and just enjoy life and the things that she's passionate about. There are like chapters that have recipes in them. Like, it was a lot of fun, and I ended up feeling way more emotional than I was expecting as I was reading this. There is a part where like, you know, like her dreams are basically coming true, and I was at the gym just you know, you just do you, girl. You're doing so good. You're doing great. Like, go you, go mom. And I was just having these like really intense emotional moments. This used the line, she let out a breath she didn't know she was holding, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And like, I just, at this point, I just consider that lazy writing. That is just lazy writing, and there are so many other forms of that, I believe, that would be better. There's a better way to describe that feeling. I don't know anyone who has let out a breath they didn't know they were holding. How do you not know you're holding a breath? I don't know. Just consider that lazy writing, and honestly, it really killed the story for me. Like, the writing just was sloppy at times, and I just, like, it was such a good story, but there were times when I just wanted to be like, an editor didn't catch this, like, this is not good, this is not good, and like, that just really killed me. Seeing that line 3 times, like, really did me in. I'm not gonna lie, I know that it's petty and it's dumb and it's a small thing, but it really just killed it for me. Like, it just made it feel sloppy. So I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy the overall story. I liked seeing the different conflicts from, what's the word, like, I cannot relate to this character in any way, shape, or form. I'm not in any of her situations. However, I still really loved seeing her grow. I love seeing the different struggles that she went through. I love seeing all that. So I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. Just the writing killed me. Then, because I like that so much, I decided to continue on to The Poet X. I mostly picked this up because we were doing a genre study at the library where we were reading award winners, and we were mostly focusing on kind of middle grade and YA award winners, and the Podex actually has won an award. Now there is, if you have been on the book Twitter, you will see that there are some things going down on the Podex right now. Apparently the artist of the cover has like stolen an image of a girl and basically made it the cover, and they just stole this image of her, didn't let her know, plagiarized it completely. So there's some things going on about that. I read this way before that. My review contains nothing of that, and I don't believe that that has any fault on the author. That is definitely on the artist, and there's no mistaking that it is this girl's face, for sure. So, let's get into the actual review of Podex. I went into this not really expecting to like it. I don't really like poetry, and this is told in a poetry prose format, but I do tend to like novels told in prose format. So I was a little hesitant, but I was kind of cautiously optimistic going into it, and I ended up connecting with this way more than I thought I would. I absolutely love this. I just flew through it. It was just so refreshing, I think, to read from this point of view. It is about a Latina American girl, and it is her struggle. She was raised in an extremely religious family. Her writing, she writes these poems, that's how she expresses herself, about how she's unsure if she believes in God the way her family does, because God has never helped her be a woman. God has only made her feel disgraced as a woman. It is her struggles as a woman, especially a more curvy woman. She is basically told that she is slutty even though she's just trying to wear clothes. Like, it is just the things that she goes into, I feel like, are a lot of female struggles with anyone. And then the religious aspect on top of that, I thought was really well done. And then there's a bunch of like side plots going on as well. There's whether or not she's going to enter her poetry into anything. There's whether or not she is going to be able to date the guy that she likes because her family is really against it. There are some side problems going on in her family, and this all comes to a head at the end. And I will say I became so frustrated reading the end of this, the things that were happening. Like, I was listening to the audiobook and I just wanted to throw my phone across the room. I was so stinking frustrated. Like, oh, the things that I wanted to do, and I just wanted to yell, and I wanted to yell at her family, and I wanted to yell at her, and I just, so much rage like came out of me in those moments, and I didn't even know that I was feeling that hard for this book. But it's definitely one that I've thought about a lot since. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I did feel like this was I don't know, like, it wasn't the best at times. The poetry was cool, and I did like the characters, but I did feel just overly frustrated with the plot at times. It was kind of a disconnect between things, but that could have been because of the format of the writing being in poetry, so it was kind of like a diary. And there was a little disconnect between some of the things happening, and I wish I would have gotten more of a backstory into the family to really understand how intense things would be at the end. So why did I do that? I don't know. The next one is The One and Only Ivan. This again was an award winner, so I wanted to read it, and this is a middle grade book about a gorilla, Ivan, who is in a mall that is kind of circus themed, and he is in a cage in the mall, and all he has is like a TV and like a teddy bear. Oh my god, this is the saddest damn story I ever read. Basically, all he has to talk to is a stray dog that like sneaks in, and also there is an elephant that is also stationed there, and it is just the saddest thing. Like, he has been trapped here for like years and years and years, like 20 years at this point, and he absolutely has nothing to do. There's a little girl that comes and visit him and gives him paints. He loves to paint, and it is basically about him realizing that there's more to life than his little box, his cage. So this was so sad. Like, I don't think I would ever recommend this to any kids, because it is just depressing from start to finish. It goes into like animal deaths, and it just talks pretty blatantly about that. It talks about animal abuse, and like maybe it's good for kids to read that and understand that, but like this is not a fun read. Like, you are not going to have fun reading this book. It is so sad. That being said, it's also so good. I felt so many emotions reading this, because I just could not imagine these animals living in these small spaces and the things that were happening to them, and them being sick and dealing with that, and just the different things going on, and oh, I was just, I felt felt so bad about Ivan and his friends, and oh my god. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm only rating it less than that because it is so damn sad. Like, otherwise I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's pretty brilliantly written. It's written from Ivan's point of view. Ivan's not dumb, but of course he's not going to have like the best intellectual sentences going on, but the way that he describes them are definitely ways that I could just see, like, I could see a gorilla describing something. So it was lots of fun, very interesting. It was not lots of fun. Why did I say that? It's just a habit at this point. It was not lots of fun, but it was very good. So now let's move on to the graphic novels. Why? I ended up reading 2 graphic novels, Lumberjanes volume, we up there now, volume 11 I think. Lumberjanes, if you don't know, which I don't know if you have made it this far on my channel, you gotta know what Lumberjanes is because I have read it like every month for the past year and a half. Lumberjanes is a graphic novel, middle grade graphic novel about a group of girls that go to an all-girls camp, and it is about the mysterious adventures that they get into because the woods are magical and they get into all kinds of fun and they have to solve problems together and they all have their strengths and stuff, and it's just so cute. There is a lesbian couple in this. There is someone that identifies as they, them. There is, I believe it is a trans character. So this one in particular talks about how they want to see if time is like kind of moving at different paces around the camp because of all the weird magical things happening, and basically one of them really wants summer to just last a little bit longer so they can have more time with their friends because they don't want to go home. So she, you know, manipulates things and things do not go according to plan. Things go awry. It wasn't as magical, it wasn't as mysterious, it wasn't like, it didn't call on all the girls for their strengths. I feel like we didn't get to see that much of them. It wasn't as fun. It just was not the best so far. Like, I understand we're getting to like, we're getting up there in issues, so like maybe we're running out of things, but I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It was fun, just wasn't the best. Then I also read Bully Wars, and I felt like I had to read this because I Hate Fairyland is my favorite graphic novel of all time, and of course he was like, I'm gonna stop writing I Hate Fairyland. He ended I Hate Fairyland way too short so he could work on Bully Wars. So I was like, guess I better read Bully Wars, and like I was very nervous about this because the premise does not excite me whatsoever. The artwork kind of reminds me of some like crazy 90s, what are those, they weren't Cabbage dolls, they were like trash can dolls or something, like, I cannot remember. This is about a group of kids that have gone to school and they have been bullied by the same bully throughout life until they get to high school. They're in high school now, and the bully realizes that he is not the biggest and baddest bully that there is, which ain't gonna work. However, in order to become the biggest and baddest bully, he has to participate in the Bully Wars. That's what he's gonna do. Now, the nerds are gonna help him win, because if he wins, then they can decide, tell him that he cannot bully them. It's like a favor for a favor kind of thing. So, that is the premise of this, and it goes into, oh, there is like some crazy things. It's a little magical because obviously the bully obstacle course is full of like large rats and octopus and like these crazy things going on. So it is about them prepping for the bully wars and how the bully realizing that these kids are kids too, even though like he's the typical dumb bully. And then we also have the kids, and then we have the bully wars, the things that are happening, and it was just, there was a lot to take in. There was a lot of artwork. It was really colorful, and I ended up really liking the artwork way more than I thought I would. I had more fun reading this than I thought I would. I didn't necessarily really like the premise of it still, even as I was reading it, but it was enough of an interesting storyline that it kept me interested, that I felt the need to finish it. I will say though, this kind of felt like it wrapped up, so I don't know if this series is going to continue. Considering it was volume 1, I would assume that there would be more volumes after, but I just don't know where it's gonna go from here, unless they're just gonna be like, it's the next year and it's another Bully Wars, and like it just wasn't interesting enough to continue on with that theme. So I don't know, the artwork I assume probably takes forever because there's a lot of stuff going on there. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable, it's a fun read, just don't know how it's going to continue. It was pretty predictable at the end, it was meh, you know. I enjoyed it, but nothing amazing. I am still upset that he stopped writing I Hate Fairyland for this. And then the last thing that I have to talk about is actually an adult, and it is actually an adult romance. And I downloaded this on my phone on a road trip and just ended up reading the whole damn thing. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. reading it, and I did not think I was going to like this. Just going into it, it just didn't seem like my cup of tea. That is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. It's kind of a fake dating trope, but not really. Like, they are very actively not dating while like still hanging out all the time. The biggest thing is, as I began reading this, I realized that it was extremely unrealistic. It is about a guy and a girl. They went to school together, and she just like made a fool of herself, and they hadn't seen each other in a while, and then they run into each other again. So things happen, and they end up spending more time together, and they decide that they are going to try to set each other up on blind dates. And it is kind of the progression of these dates, and also obviously the progression of their romance and them not dating. Some things that I knew I wasn't going to like is, one, that it seemed way over the top and totally unbelievable. The main character is not like other girls, but she's very hot. The one thing that bothered me so bad is that she is supposed to be like 5'5". She has all this beautiful hair that's just piled on a bun, and she somehow looks beautiful. She also has amazing boobs, we know right off the bat, but still only weighs 105 pounds soaking wet. No, that's not realistic. Like, I'm sorry, it's 110. She's 110 pounds soaking, but I was ready to be done with it right then and there, but I was like, you know what, whatever. It's a romance, set that aside, we'll continue it on, you know, okay. So we have all that going on. This has like every trope that I hate. I hate when they meet a guy and he already has a girlfriend. I hate when the girl is like the manic pixie dream girl, which is basically what she is. She's just all over the place and crazy and chaotic, and they address this, which I thought was nice, that she's like the quirky girl and people like her for her quirkiness until they're dating her, and then they expect her to calm down after a bit. And I did like that that was addressed, but I still don't like the fact that she was just like all over the place, energetic all the time, like can't relate. This had like every trope that I don't like, so I was going into this and I just, you know, everything was working against this book. I really freaking liked this book, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was just like an addictive writing style. It was just enough to like put the lore out there and reel me in a little bit each time with something new. The attention I thought was done really well. Although the situations were totally unrealistic, I just could suspend my belief and just enjoy the story, which is amazing. I feel like I don't do that often. I ended up giving this a 4.5. Why did I like this so much? I still can't tell you. I still don't really know. I didn't love the characters, but I sure did like the steamy sex scenes. So I don't, like, it was just what I needed at that time. I needed something kind of carefree and silly and also kind of sexy. Like, that's just what I needed in my life, and so it fulfilled that for me. Let me know if you guys have read any of these things and what you have thought of them. Just, you know, leave a comment down below. I'll get to it eventually, I swear. I know I'm so bad at reading. I read all your comments. I don't get around to answering all of them, so I'm sorry. But know that they are read, and I try to let you know that I have read them. So the things that I read in June, I hope you guys have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future wrap-ups from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!